What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Dirt Soldiers MX and the Motocross Training Academy. I got a question for you. Are you tired of coming in second, third, fourth, fifth place? Are you tired of letting that guy that's like 2 bike lengths in front of you beat you and you just can't pass him? Are you a guy that's over 40 like me and you just want to get better? You want to get the techniques down and you want to be more safe and you want to ride the bike correct? You want to flow on the bike? Are you getting tired of getting tired and then making mistakes and getting injuries and wrecking? Are you just a beginner and you want to learn the right techniques and you just can't seem to get this stuff down? Well, that's what I want to help you with, and that's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you 2 techniques today that if you apply these 2 techniques, they will improve your speed and build good riding habits right away, okay? And what these things is called back against the force of braking, forward into the force of acceleration. This is a rule, a general rule, and if you follow this general rule, go back against the force of braking, go lean forward into the force of acceleration. I'll explain all that with this video of Adam at the Daytona Supercross right here. I'm going to explain it to you, and I promise you, if you practice this and you get this technique down, you will see massive improvements in your riding. Matter of fact, this might be just the thing that you're doing maybe a little bit wrong, and you start to get this, and you start to win races. You start to pass that guy in front of you. This will definitely help you with not being tired and making you get real tired. You get real tired at the end of the race or halfway through the race and your head's bobbing down on the handlebar mounts. I was there one time. Believe me, I was there. And I was no natural, and it took me many years of studying, riding my butt off to learn this stuff. The first thing I can say before we get into this is, once you learn this technique right here, take it out, slow it down, and practice it. It don't take long, but you got to slow it down. If you try to go back to your old speed, you're just going to go back to your old bad habits. You got to let this become what I like to call engraved in your DNA. It's got to become a reflex reaction. It's just got to happen without you even thinking about it. That's the difference between someone like Adam Cincerello here and me, for example, or just any amateur. You know, They do this without even thinking about it. It just happens, all right? So what I want to show you today is, I said it already, back against the force of braking, forward in the force of acceleration. What that is it's a balance. Motocross is a balance game. That's what it is. It's balance. Motocross is balance, timing, and control, okay? And we'll get into much more in timing and control. That comes through the 5 controls. I'm going to make more videos on that, so stay tuned, all right? But anyhow, it's the balance game, and what happens is you have to be in the correct position under the forces that you're applying to this bike. You got the forces of braking, the 2 biggest ones, the forces of braking and the forces of acceleration. You put a lot of force when you're braking, the force is coming to the front of the bike. When you're accelerating, the force is going back to the bike, and you can't stay frozen in one position. It just can't happen. And it's what a lot of amateurs do. They get on a bike, they get nervous, I understand, but it freezes them up, and they don't stay loose, and they stay right in that one position. As I'll show you in this video, it's one of the worst mistakes you can make, because it'll definitely make you crash, guaranteed, or you just won't become one on the bike. You won't flow, and when you don't flow, you make mistakes, and that's where bad things happen. Okay, we also have some other forces that are on the track. You know, this tracks are vicious. We got breaker bumps, whoops, corners, ruts within ruts, jumps, doubles, singles, everything. So we got them forces also. I'm not going to touch on them today, but you have to move. And when you watch this video that I'm going to show you today, maybe that'll help you understand even more when you're on the track and what you can do under even some of them forces that are happening from the track, okay? But let's look at this, all right? Here comes, we got this video Adam here at the Daytona Supercross, and by the way, I'm going to break some more of these videos down. I haven't done this in a while, but I am going to go back to taking these videos from the race and breaking down some stuff for you guys. I love this slow-mo thing they're doing, because you can really see the technique applied here. So here's what it is. Adam's coming down through here. He goes into a corner. It's a left-hand corner, and he powers out of the corner, okay? Now, remember what I said. You want to go back against the force of braking. So let's watch this. Here comes Adam. Now, see if you notice anything. Now, here he lands off this jump, okay? Now, look at his body position right here. He's starting to brake because he's right up here's a corner. I'll let it play and you'll see. But look at his body position. Here he comes into the corner. Look at that body position. Now he transitions back to the center, and then he's in. Now let's go back and look at this, and let me show you what's happening here. Whoops, it skipped up on me. Sorry, guys. Let me bring it back. Here we go. Oh, back to a wreck. Okay, here we go. Now, boom. Right there starts his braking. Now, why? Remember, the general rule, start practicing this. Go back against the force of braking. What's happening here is he's under hard braking, okay? He's using his front brake and his rear brake. Your front brake's your stopping power, your rear brake's for control. I'll make more videos on that. Stay tuned. But when you're under this hard force of braking, all that's coming to the front of the bike, okay? All that force is coming to the front of the bike. You need to go back against that force, because if you was to stay more right up in here, in the center, or freeze like most amateurs do, right here in this more straight up and down position like we just seen them up here, that's in the wrong place. Your weight's up in the front. The force of braking's now going to the front. What happens? You either endo, or you tuck, this wheel tucks and slides out and you crash. Or if you don't crash, it makes you tired, because what happens is it's pushing a force against you also. The force, it's in you, you're in the wrong position. This is this balance. See, in this motocross bike, we're always moving to find the center of balance. We don't just start in the center position. We move under these forces to find the center of balance. And that's what's happening here. And how you do that is, we start in our center of balance. We know what that is. If you go to dirtsoldiersmotocross.com, watch the free videos. That's the starting point, center of balance. It's actually on YouTube here too. You can find it. We know our knees are tight. Our head's over the handlebar mounts. Our shoulders are nice and square, facing where we go. Head's looking to where we want to go. Knee joint over the ankle joint. Upper body's nice and loose. We got our legs carrying all the weight down through our legs into the foot pegs. No weight up in the arms and the handlebars, okay? Now, as that position, as you start to brake, you got to go back against that force. And how you do that is you slide on your knees with them. See how tight Adam's knees are on this bike? And you crouch down in your back and you squat down in the hips, almost like you're sitting down on a seat. So that's what he's doing right here. He's going back against the force of braking. He's braking. He's going to brake harder, and he's going to stay back there. That's why he stays. As we watch this video, he stays there. Now, another thing this will do is, and it'll help you, is the force of the track. Remember I said about that? Well, here's the force of the track with these rollers, these breaker bumps coming up through here. And what else this does by being back there is it keeps the back of this bike down. We want this wheel on the ground so we can brake effectively to set us up for the corner, right? So we need that wheel to stay down. If we was to stay more up here in the center, that bike's going to compress. The suspension's going to compress, and it's going to rebound over these bumps, and it's going to pop you, that wheel off the ground, will pop you forward, and that'll also make you crash if you have too much weight on the front. So there's the other reason why he's back here. Look how far that butt is back, almost to the fender. He's under braking. He's going back against the force of braking, and he's keeping his weight back there to keep this wheel down on the ground so he can brake effectively. So there's two reasons why you go back against the force of braking. I promise you, start applying this technique right here, and all you have to do is keep your knees tight as you're braking. If you're under hard braking, it's all going to be dependent on how hard you're braking. If you're braking hard and there's big breaker bumps and there's the rough track's rough like Daytona, you're going to have to go back farther. If you're coming into a corner, it's light braking, you're going to have to go back a little bit. But you're always going to have to go back against the force of braking. As an amateur, and if you didn't know nothing about this and you want to practice it, exaggerate it. Go really far back so you get a good feeling of how it works. And motocross is another game of feeling. It's big on feeling. And what will happen is you'll start to feel where things are happening on the bike. As you start to do this correctly, you'll see how, okay, I didn't need to be back as far. Or I can go back a little less. My braking's, I can go into a lighter braking, don't go back as far. You see what I mean? Motocross is a big game of feeling also. So, there it is, back against the force of braking. Start applying that. Now let's watch. There's a lot of things that happen in this video, and I'll make more stuff in this video to help you guys, because there's some great braking stuff here. There's some great, just a lot of good stuff where he applies these brakes correctly. I don't want to get this video too crazy long. Some people yell at me sometimes for doing that. I have a tendency to just want to give you guys so much, you know what I mean? I really want to help you, and I want you to understand this. So I get them long sometimes. It's already getting long. But I'll make more, and I'll try to make them a little bit quicker and get to the point a little quicker. But it really help you guys with a lot more stuff here, all right? Now, remember the other part of that. Now, see what happens. Adam comes forward back to the center of balance. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, he's back against the force of braking. As he comes into his corner, what happens is he's getting lighter and lighter on his brakes. He hits this breaker bump here. So see how he squats down into that and stays to keep that bike from popping up. He's still on the brakes. Now he's going to get lighter and lighter. As he gets lighter, he transitions back to the center of balance. See him coming back? What's happening now is he's getting lighter on his brakes. Now remember, we always want to be braking or accelerating. So you want to stay on your brakes up until the point into this corner where you're going to accelerate out. Or what will happen is if you leave off your brakes completely, your bike's going to want to track straight and you're going to miss your corner. Another little tip there. But you want to transition back into the center of balance, okay? Because what's happening now, all them forces are evening out on the bike. You're leaving off the throttle, you're leaving off the brakes. You're not on the brakes as hard. The bike's starting to even out now. There's not a big force to the front of it, so you come back more to the center of balance. Plus, you have to transition into your seated center of balance for this corner because you want to get up high on the tank and you want to get this wheel to stick so you can power through here. As you leave off the throttle and you get lighter on the throttle or leave off the throttle completely, that's another reason why you want to get high on this tank and get into this corner because you're going to be steering more with your front. When you're off the throttle, you're steering with the front of your bike. When you're on the throttle hard, you're steering more with the rear of your bike, okay? Another thing I can show you here before we get into this last part of lean forward into the force of acceleration is as you're transitioning to the seated position here, as you're coming forward, see how here's a big mistake I see a lot of amateurs make. It's so small but so huge, and it'll screw you up big time if you do this. Look how he's transitioning to the front of the bike, okay? As these forces are evening out on the bike. Look at his foot. It's more flat, right? What amateurs will do is they want that foot flat so they can keep braking. It feels weird to them to go forward. And what will happen is his foot will start to go in this weird angle straight down. As I play this video more, we can look at it. See how his foot goes way far down there? Let's bring it back. What they'll do here is, as they're transitioning like this forward, they'll sit down right there, even before that, like a second before that, because they want this foot flat because it feels more natural to keep braking. What you need to do there, guys, is you need to, as you're transitioning, that foot has to come off the foot peg, but it stays on the brake, okay? And I'll get into braking videos down the road here because this back brake's more for control, and you don't want to lock it up. You want to feather that rear brake. You want to feather that thing, not lock it up. You lock it up, you lose control. That's like an anti-lock brakes on a car. When they lock up, you have no control of that car. I know it feels weird, but boy, so the trick here is your foot comes off the peg. Don't sit down right here. That's incorrect center of balance, just to keep that foot flat. As it moves forward into that lean angle, just bring it off the foot peg. Keep braking, feather that brake for control, keep that suspension sucked down and keep that wheel on the ground. As you go into your corner and you come off the brakes, release. You got to pick the foot off the brake pedal and go back to the foot peg. It's a real quick movement. The foot don't have to come off far. Just don't make the mistake of sitting down right here just so your foot's flat, okay? All right, now let's get back to it. As we get into this corner, what's going to happen is he comes into his corner. Now right here, he starts to power the throttle on hard right here. Now look what he's doing. He's leaning forward into the force of acceleration. Now the force of acceleration happens. As he comes through this corner, you don't want to chop your throttle. You want to roll the throttle on light, because look at this bike leaned over here. If you hammer that throttle now, this is another mistake a lot of amateurs make, and I completely understand, because your first reaction is hammer the throttle. Get on the gas quick, but look how leaned over this bike is. That wheel don't have much traction on the ground. When you hammer that throttle, this is where your ass end will slide out and you'll crash, all right? So you roll that throttle on, don't chop it. And what you do, as you roll it on harder, you lean forward into that force of acceleration. Why do you do that? Because as you're seated and you're powering out of here, if you was to be way back here on the back of the bike, guess what's happening? All that power is now going to the back wheel and to the back of the bike. If you are back here with your body weight, what happens? The front wheel comes off the ground. You have to either leave off the throttle, which you lose time to drop the wheel back down, or you flip and wreck and roll the bike over. So you want to lean forward into the force of acceleration. And another thing it'll do here is what it'll give you arm pump, because what'll happen is if you freeze and you're way back here and your arms are already stretched out or your body's more straight up and down, as you ply that throttle hard, guess what happens? Pulling on the arms. You would be surprised. This is one of the biggest things I've seen with guys that are riding pretty good that have arm pump and can't get rid of it, is this right here. They don't lean forward into that force of acceleration. Listen, as an amateur and you want to go out and practice this, get farther than this even over that bike. Really feel this so you get aware of it and it becomes engraved in your DNA. Get that head up over them handlebar mounts. And what you do here is you lean from your waist up to your head forward. Don't slide with your butt. Don't slide. You want to be high on the seat. You want to have you want to be positioned on that seat already through the corner. You want to use your upper body from your waist up to your head. You can do it. If you're sitting down watching this at the computer right now, just lean forward. That's all it is, okay? Just lean forward, and you can get way up over them bars and look down at that number plate. That way you'll understand it and you'll feel it real good. And that's what you want to do, guys. Get up high on the tank, lean forward into the force of acceleration, and power out. That'll keep from getting arm pump. It'll keep your weight that's the correct center of balance for putting power to the back wheel, and you'll start to flow more. Alright guys, man, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you a lot. There's so much in this video. I'll actually break down more in this, more to come in this. I can really help you with some braking stuff and some other stuff in this. I don't want to keep this thing too crazy long. Listen, I want to tell you about something. If you're interested in learning more about this stuff and getting this down and mastering this stuff, getting to the front of the pack, not getting as tired, seeing the checker flag first, and just mastering these techniques, I got a great program coming out called the Motocross Training Academy. It was actually already released, but I shut it down. It was over 50 or 60 videos of a beginner course. It shows everything for a beginner, all this stuff from braking, accelerating, master the 5 controls, center of balance, seated, standing, all that. It's going to be re-released. I'm packaging it back up and putting it in a program at the Motocross Training Academy that I'm super excited about, because what's cool about it is that you're now going to be able to stream these videos right to your phone. What you can do is, say you're at the track, you're out there, you're having problems, let's say jumps. It's giving you a little bit of trouble, the jumps. You can come back to your truck, go to the Motocross Training Academy, look up jumps, and stream that video right to your phone and get the correct techniques for jumping, and then go right back out to your track and apply them. It's not a thing. The old one was more of a thing where you had to sign up and be part of it and get into a membership program. This thing's going to actually be right there, and you can stream these videos right to your phone and practice them. So I'm super excited about that. If you want to know more about this and get 4 more free videos of videos just like this teaching you more about the correct techniques, go to the motocrosstrainingacademy.com. Sign up with your name and email, and you'll be notified of when that's released so you can check it out, and you'll get 4 free videos. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon. That link for the Motocross Training Academy will be below this video. Just click on it. It'll take you right there. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.